Hello guys, my name is Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. The Bitcoin space and cryptocurrency space is revving up and getting exciting. After months of sideways action, Bitcoin hit $11,000 recently and is attempting to pass that mark again. In this video, we're going to cover all the massive number of bullish indicators that I see forming in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space right now. All right, to start it off, about 2 weeks ago on July 13th, I posted this image, and this image shows the Bitcoin price as of just before May until where we were at that point. And I noted this wedge formation occurring. I said, over 2 months of Bitcoin price consolidation, what's our next move? Which way will Bitcoin break out? I think it could be a pretty big one based on the duration. And actually what we can see is that the Bitcoin price not only broke out of a several month triangle wedge, it broke out of a 2-year-long descending resistance line. Bitcoin has broken out above the descending line of resistance that has defined the market for 2.5 years. This could be the real deal. We could be on the first serious step toward a bull run of epic magnitude. And I can't disagree with him there. This has been a long time in the making. Guys, we have been waiting for so long, years. Every single previous attempt to break through this descending line of resistance has been met with rejection until the past couple of days and the past week, where we have a clear breakout through this descending line of resistance. This generally bodes extremely well for the price, and in my opinion, bodes for a very bullish future for Bitcoin, especially when taking into account the duration of this technical move. We're not talking about just a couple of months of price resistance being finally broken out. We're talking about the entire bull run since the end of 2017. This is incredible. And in fact, if I had to make a bet here, I would be willing to say that this is the last time that we will ever see prices below, for example, $8,000. I think that we're generally going to be going upward and not looking back from this point forward. I believe that this bullish indicator marks the beginning of the upward ascent from which we will never look back. And throughout the coming year to 2 years, where we continue to climb and climb and climb, there will be drawbacks, there will be corrections. That is the nature of the price. But overall, the price will be heading up, and that is what I strongly feel. Moving on, we have some more bullish news. You know, when you have people saying that the government might ban Bitcoin, it is always possible. Some countries have tried to do it before. But you know what? We have news to the exact opposite of that. Right now, we have the OCC allowing national banks to provide custody services for digital assets. That means your bank can allow you to now store crypto, and it has been approved by the OCC. Visa endorses Bitcoin and stablecoins. So now we have one of the major, largest contenders in the credit space, Visa endorsing Bitcoin and stablecoins. If you remember a while back, we had JP Morgan bashing and bashing and bashing Bitcoin. And now JP Morgan is jumping on board with Bitcoin. And one more piece of news is that we have PayPal going full crypto. Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal are changing their tune on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. These are all recent developments. Payments giants Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal have had a rocky relationship with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in recent years, though have been softening their stances for some time. In 2018, all three companies cracked down on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency transactions in the wake of Bitcoin's massive 2017 bull run that thrust cryptocurrencies into the global limelight. Now, with the likes of social media giant Facebook and Wall Street stalwarts, including JP Morgan, embracing cryptocurrencies, Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal are all gearing up to drive the next wave of Bitcoin and crypto development and adoption. Guys, I don't know what could be more bullish than this news right here. If this was the only thing that this video was about, this would be incredibly bullish news. Can you imagine when the price of Bitcoin was below $1,000 and seeing this kind of news or thinking that this was even possible? I don't think that any of us actually saw this coming. I think that many of us in the crypto space kind of always envisioned Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to be at ends and at odds with the traditional legacy financial and banking system. And it's actually turning out even better because right now we're having an adoption and a harmony between the legacy and the new. And that can only bode well for price. That can only bode well for the increased on-ramps, liquidity, and user ability to acquire cryptocurrency. It doesn't mean that the legacy system will necessarily always be involved with cryptocurrency, but I do still still feel that we are in the somewhat early adopter stages of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And so to have giants like this on board just helps ignite the rocket boosters in this grassroots movement of cryptocurrency. And once Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is too big to fail, I would actually argue that it is already too big to fail, then it doesn't really matter what legacy systems we have. In the long run, many of these legacy systems may not even exist, or they may not even be relevant anymore. But one thing I feel sure of is that cryptocurrency will be around. So I welcome with open arms these guys onboarding cryptocurrency into their business models. And on to our next piece of bullish news. 62% of Bitcoin's supply has not moved in at least a year. The speculators are gone. Hodling is at an all-time high. And here's a chart showing this. Now, the reason that's important is because that shows that there are more and more people holding Bitcoin and less people moving it or selling it. And this chart is an overlay between the price, which is this gray line, and this orange line, which is the percent supply last active 1+ years ago. So you can see that we're actually at the all-time high for the number of Bitcoin that has not moved. I find this metric extremely fascinating because you can see a pattern, a relative rough pattern, where every bull run peak right here, here, and here is corresponding with a sharp decline in the number of Bitcoin that have not moved in the past year, which makes sense because those Bitcoin are trying to sell or move from their wallets during that price peak. And so this is another factor that I will be using to gauge when we're nearing the top of the next bull run. You can see that here in 2014. Similarly, we had a drop right before the peak. 2017, a massive drop in the number of Bitcoin that had not moved in the last year, right before the peak. And there's actually a warning because it starts heading down before the peak occurs. So I think that this will be the same because as we get near the top, obviously people are going to want to sell to take their profits. And so right now we are clearly not anywhere near the top, judging by this graph. This graph is actually heading up. And if you were to approximate where we are on the last bull run with this chart, I would say we're right about here. So we have a long ways to go before the chart starts moving down with the number of Bitcoin that have not moved in the last year. And so again, bullish, 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 guys. Now, another reason I'm super bullish about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is because of all the DeFi that is happening, decentralized finance. And you can see that Ethereum was trending on Twitter itself just a few days ago. And let's jump into DeFi a little bit. On DeFiPulse.com, you can see a massive acceleration in the amount of USD locked up in DeFi platforms. That could be anything from lending, derivatives, decentralized exchanges, assets, etc. And you can see from June to July, we went from 1.04 billion to about 2 billion. And from July to where we are now, we're not even at the end of July, we went from 2 billion to 3.6 billion. We actually had a doubling, 1.8 billion to 3.6 billion in the past less than 1 month. So this is a exponential graph. This is an exponential chart. Let's do 1 year, and just so you can get a visual of how steep this is. You can see that in the last year, DeFi has reached levels not only that it has never seen before, but also a vertical acceleration that just shows how much interest is in the DeFi space. One site I really like to check from time to time is Blocktivity because it shows the amount of usage of blockchains, specifically in the activity column where we see how many operations per second each blockchain respectively is performing. We have EOS in number 1 for a long time now, 78 million operations per second. Telos in number 2, 4 million operations per second. Stellar Lumens in place 3 with 2.8 operations per second. And it goes down. We have Tron, Ethereum, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash, Hive, etc. Moving on down. And some of these blockchains are limited in the amount of transactions that they can handle per block and per minute. And so what we see here is that even though Bitcoin and Ethereum are higher market cap wise, they're actually not able to process as many transactions and as many operations per second as some of these other blockchains. However, some of these higher performing blockchains are newer and haven't been around for quite as long. So it's an interesting battle between the network effect of older blockchains that have more market cap and higher liquidity and newer blockchains that are rising up slowly. It will be interesting to see if they can unseat them or not. And here's a list of the top blockchain dApps on dappradar.com. So we're just going to go through this chart and call out the blockchains that have the most users. So this is sorted by users. We have the top dApps by Tron, Hive, Tron, EOS, Wax, which is an EOS.io blockchain, Tron, EOS, Wax, Steam, Tron. Now, if we sort it by top volume dApps, we have Ethereum, 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 EOS, Ethereum, 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 Ethereum. So you can see where all the volume is occurring. And as another bullish piece of information, we have in the last hour the largest inflow of USDT, Tether, into exchanges in over 8 months. So while I'm not a big fan of Tether, I do pay attention to it because it does have the most volume as far as on-ramps and off-ramps into exchanges. So in the past 8 months, we have just seen the highest volume of Tether moving into exchanges. Yet another reason to be bullish. And it times exactly with Bitcoin breaking out and reaching $11,000. Keep paying attention because we are accelerating. The rocket boosters are not looking back. It's very exciting. We've waited many years for this, and it's finally happening. We are at the cusp of the bull run that never looks back. And I made a little 30-second video, a little channel intro for my YouTube channel, but I'm just going to say it again. Make sure that your friends, your family, and your loved ones are aware of this diversification opportunity. They don't have to put all their money into it. And I'm not advocating this as financial advice. I'm just saying, give them the knowledge that they need to be able to make their own decision about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, because a lot of people may not understand it due to its technical difficulties, but they may also be missing one of the greatest opportunities that we have seen in 100 years. So show them Bitcoin, show them this video, show them cryptocurrency, show them the DeFi platforms available, show them the potential and the disruption that is occurring, and the fact that Visa and PayPal are adopting and building support for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. This is an incredible time to be alive, guys, and I don't want any of you to miss it. When we have the government abusing and manipulating the money supply to all of our detriment and stealing from us behind our back in the form of taxation and printing money and bailing out large corporations, all to the detriment of small business owners and you and I, the regular guy, we need to do something about it. And this is the one peaceful, passive revolution that I see. I'm not into rioting. I'm not into destroying. I'm into peaceful, passive revolution that is unstoppable. And that is Bitcoin, and that is cryptocurrency. Please like, please share, please comment, all of those things, all of that engagement from you. Not only do I personally love it, I love engaging with my audience, but it also helps boost me up the ranks and gets my content seen by others. So if you would do that for me, it would be a big favor and I'd really appreciate it. I hope you're all doing awesome. Have a great day.